Hello my good people and welcome. I hope you're doing great, and today is the D-Day. Today is on that 1st December 2020. The worst year has come to an end. Yes, I know most of you are referring to this as a year that munaenda kuzika katika kaburi la sahau, but I would like to say that this is a year that has shaped the IT industry. That is one thing you need to know. Kitambo people, they never used to recognize us. Walikuwa wanaona as if we normally do nothing, especially ukiwa you are employed somewhere as an IT administrator or maybe a specialist or something, like any position in the IT industry. People never used to maybe recognize what you normally do, but this time round at least tumepata nini? Respect. So I would like to say that the 2020 year has shaped the IT industry. That is one of the things that you need to remember, because this is the year that has brought many opportunities in the IT industry. And in our today's video, I'd like us to focus on the IT industry in the coming year, that is 2021, especially here in Kenya, how it's going to be, and what you need to know going forward. So first of all, I'd like to appreciate a lot for the guys who have supported me. Basically, first of all, this channel, and again there is the platform which you normally call CodeStar Technology. Have had a few students who have enrolled some courses, and they have done very well out there now. Watu wamejisimamia nowadays, they are doing their own projects, and I would like to appreciate for their support. And again, for the guys who have subscribed to this channel, you know that it's something that I started like around 3 months ago, something like that, and right now we have got almost 150 subscribers. That means that's a huge number because I feel like right now even I'm talking to about over 150 guys who are listening to my content, and that's a big plus to me. I would like to appreciate. Continue supporting this channel. Again, make sure you share the links to other guys for them also to get access to this kind of resources. And again, make sure you like each and every video that you watch, because that's how you support this channel, and also you motivate me, and now also you increase the chances the chances of making my videos, my content going getting more views, and even to a level that the channel can start making income. And I would like to appreciate for your support. So continue sharing, like the videos, and again, if you can, make sure you write something on comment, maybe a topic that maybe you might want me to cover. So thanks you a lot. And again, you can go to Facebook and check our Facebook page. Just search for CodeStar Technologies and make sure you like the page. So let's get back to our today's topic. As I said, we are going to focus on the coming year, that is 2020, to check what or how the IT industry is going to be in the coming year. So generally, I've got some few things that I would like to say that has happened this year, and one is that the IT industry has opened many opportunity this year. Kumekuwa na ile, like, the industry imefunguka sasa. At least now people have realized that IT is something that they need to have in every business. So basically they need like a website, something like that, maybe even just the basic skills, hata kama ni MS Office skills like MS Word, Excel, graphic design, and so forth. So generally that is one thing. But now going forward, how you need to prepare yourself, or what you need to expect, some of the areas that you need to expect that they are going to have more opportunities. First of all, you need to check on your goals, like what you need to achieve in the coming year. But maybe if you don't know, first of all, it's are you intending to get employed? That is one of the things that I normally refer. Or else maybe you want to start a business or work as a freelancer. The other aspect is either you want to build your own product, like software as a service. Maybe it can be an e-commerce, or maybe an e-learning platform, something that you want to offer out there and give to the clients and sell to them. those are some of the areas that you can specialize on. Either you want to get employed, you want to start your own business, you want to build your own platform, want to become a content creator like me. Also, I normally do the content, not because I want to do, but I normally do a lot of things, but this is one of the areas that I normally find some time to do something about it, because it's giving some people income, and I know like in future it's going to do well. Then the last thing is, maybe if you want to learn technology for the sake of it, that is for hobby. So those are some of the things that you need to work on. Check your goal, what you want to be in future, what you want to focus on. And next thing is to check the areas of IT that you can specialize on. Now, as you know that there is what we refer to as web development, there is desktop application. Remember, still desktop application are widely used here in Kenya. You realize that there are companies which are using QuickBooks and so forth. They create their own point of sales and so forth. So desktop based application. So kuna a lot of developers here in Kenya wenye wanafanya tu desktop application using VB.NET and C#. That is an area that you can check. Again, now the other area is either networking, and remember, networking, once you do networking, you can also venture in cyber security and so forth. Then there is the graphic design and mambo na video editing. That's another area that you can make a lot of income out of it. So it's something that you need to kind of check whether you can focus on that. And lastly, I can talk of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an area that it's growing very fast. Like business aspect, businesses are trying to apply artificial intelligence in whatever they do. So that's an area that you need to check. Like you can work on a embedded system like the sensors and so forth. You normally think of solenoid logs. If you go to agriculture, you'll find that there are sensors that are used there for temperature, moisture and so forth. How you reprogram them, that is an area that you can also check. Internet of Things on all that aspect, it's an area that you need to check. And remember, artificial intelligence has got a branch that called, now has given the birth, I would like to say that, though it has been around for some years right now in Kenya, imeanza kufunguka, that is data science. That's another area that you can also check. And lastly, you can either focus on hardwares, like the basic, like machine mambo na repair, maintenance. You can go ahead about installation, and you can also focus on what we refer to as server installation and maintenance, like how you work with the Windows Server, that is MS Windows Server. Like I've done some kind of 2012. You can use 2016, I think. I don't think whether there is 2019. You can also check on that. So how you can install server using those kind of stuff, or Linux, something like that. So basically, those are areas that you can start working on. And lastly, I almost forgot, there is mobile apps. So those are areas that you can check: web development, desktop applications, networking and cyber security, graphics design and video editing. Then there is artificial intelligence and hardware and mobile application. So once you come up with your goal, that what you want to achieve, and choose an area that you want to specialize on, the next thing in the coming year that you need to do is to work on those areas. And basically, I would like to start with hardware, and as I said, because that I'm going to be brief on that area, the hardware, what you need to focus in, just the basic, how to connect a machine, disconnect, assembling, disassembling of a machine, the necessary tools that you need to have, like screwdrivers. There is that that technician kit that you can buy to have it, and some bit of networking and so forth, because those are some of the basic things that you can specialize on. Installation of CCTVs and so forth. So that's an area that has got a lot of opportunities that you can venture in. And again, as you know that the Komsa city, is an area that it's a city that is growing very fast. I've seen demand in the guys who have got skills in the area of server installations and so forth, and that is an area that most of you need now to focus. Otherwise mtaanza kuona watu wakitolewa outside the country wanakuja kuangalia just doing server maintenance, installation and so forth. Yeah, and that is so embarrassing, at least kuanza kuona a country that has got over 50 million people, at least tukianza ku import professionals out there, and we have got some guys from universities and college. So that is an area that you can check. So focus on just the basic repair, maintenance. You can get those kind of skills from the YouTube and all that. You'll get all that content, and I know this is something that I've shared where you can get some softwares to work with, like free softwares, the crack softwares. That is an area that most Kenyans are making money out of it. Just very few people, they normally buy these softwares. So you just need to download and start working with them and check how they work, and you gain skills. So at the end of the day, IT industry is an industry that tukianza kusema host, JND attachment and all that will never work for us. The best thing, the resources are available online and you can make use of them and increase your chances of getting employed. Maybe if you're looking for employment or creating your own employment or building your own empire, I can say that. So generally focus on the basic repair, maintenance, some kind of installation, exchanging hard disk like RAM and so forth, blowing machines. Go to an extent now, start focusing on networking, basic like terminating cables and so forth. Then move from there. CCTV installation, an area that you can venture. Again, get to understand how raids. Normally, most of the people, they don't know how RAID normally work. That is redundancy array of independent disk, something like that. I think it's referred to as that. Then you unaweza kuwa na hard disk means and store that information based on, yeah, just research on it and get to know how it works. That's an area that is more of a hardware part. Now let's get to networking, which is the second area that you can specialize on. And networking, you know that networking is very wide, and this is an area that is dominated by Cisco. So you just need to take a course in Cisco. You can do either CCNA and get to understand much about it. And from there, once you get to understand much about this stuff, now you can get to start the practical part. And the practical part, you can just start with the terminating of cables and so forth, just knowing the basic, just a small network kama ya cyber venye inafanya ama kwa ofisi, how it normally works in a small business. Now from there you can move forward. At least sasa unaanza kufocus for big organization and so forth, how you install things like routers, these masts and so forth. There is those kind of stuff. Now you can focus on that, but just start improving your skills using things like packet tracers. Packet tracer is a tool that is even free, I think. Because I've used it before, and yes, I used to use this free. I don't think whether there is any problem that. So you can check in case maybe you have any issues. I can send you the setup. I have the setup for packet tracer, so you just practicing with it. Then after that, ukipata ka opportunity ka kwenda mahali maybe kwa any organization best yako unajiona naye, you go and try to get to know how they work. But in case maybe you can buy your own stuff like Cisco router, Cisco switch, though they are very expensive, but it's good because you're going to practice and gain knowledge on your own, and you can sell them to any organization also after using them, practicing. So in IT, I normally say that right now having a network like internet on your house, maybe something like that, it's an internet, sio ile tulikuwa tunasema it's a luxury. Nowadays is a necessity. It's something that you need to have as an IT professional. So basically, once you improve your skills on networking, now you can move forward, because that utaenda mambo ya advanced networking part, ERG, something like that. There is NAT, there is those kind of protocols. You get to learn much about it, and once you get to much cover about it, now you can specialize on when you have skills on networking, and you get to understand much about port configuration and so forth, packet switching and so forth. You can specialize on so you can start a career in cyber security, because you will find that they go hand in hand. The kind of the knowledge that is required on the programming knowledge that is required by cyber security is very minor. It's not that much. And now to major match on the cyber security, you get to interact with tools. Unaweza install computer yako sasa, something like Kali Linux, and check some tutorials hapo kwa YouTube, uanze kujua venye mtu anga na crack password, maybe hardwares, not hardware, softwares and so forth, bypass softwares, by yeah, all those kind of systems, how they normally work, and you'll gain a lot of content. Keep on practicing, though make sure at least at the back of your mind unajua that is an area which is very, very tricky, and it can land you in the hands of government. So it's good when you practice that area, at least unajua chenye unafanya. Just be ethical. That is what I normally kind of advocate on. Now once you venture on networking, I think networking, that one to cover vizuri, and it's an industry that you need to expect itaendelea ku grow in Kenya, because if you talk of hardware, computers watu wananunua every day, so hizo ni kazi una expect kupata each and every day. Like right now, companies, they don't employ guys to going to check their machines. They just ask for a guy outside of their own outsource, wanamleta anafanya kazi anamaliza. The same way to networking, the same way to cyber security. That is what you're going to expect. So it's not an area that I would expect, unless bank wanaweza kukuajiri hapo full time wewe unafanya mambo ya networking and so forth, but very few organization or institutions they can do that. Now after networking, the other area is on desktop application. As I told you that desktop application still zinatumika sana, and the best tool that you can use is either C#. You can either also use VB.NET. Those are some of the softwares that are good in that area, and again also C++, and again also you can also use Python. Though JavaScript still bado kuna those kind of frameworks that you can use to create those kind of desktop application, but now that's an area that still iko na demand, but not that much, because most of the businesses are moving online. So it's good to focus on right now web development. I normally say that web development is an area that has got so many opportunities. Apart from now the desktop application, we go to the next area, which is web development. Web development is an area that has got so many opportunities, as I said, and you just need to check on the tools that you can use that dominate that area. As you know that things like PHP is the one that all the content normally use PHP as the backend, and you have to start with the basic like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, something like that, because JavaScript has been there as an front-end programming language, and as I always say, nowadays, like 2020s, and it's like 2020, 2019, 2018, somewhere there, those kind of 3 years have got as a lot of improvement when it comes to JavaScript, because as you know that Node.js, Dino.js, those are some of the tools that have made JavaScript to be one of the best programming language. Also, as I always tell you that they go and like wanga zinabishana hapo, Python, JavaScript, yeah, zinaendanga zikisukumana sana, but Python iko mahali too, because of when we talk of web development, you have to learn frameworks like Django and Flask. So if we talk of web development, just check on that. I will talk much about the languages and so forth in the next area. And last, I always tell you that there are some of the things that people are forgetting, like graphic design and video editing. Those are basic skills that you realize that most professionals, they don't have, and we kind of overlook it, especially the graduates and so forth. Wanga tuna assume like hiyo kazi, okay, it's mambo ya design and so forth, hiyo ni wase wenye wafanya packages and so forth, but you realize that these are the tools that are being used in the companies, and that's why ndio unaona hata mkienda kwa interview and so forth, you kind of it becomes a challenge, because most of the employers, they need someone who has got the basic skills, like just wako sawa when it comes to MS Office, wako sawa when it comes to something like just basic internet skills. Nasema mi si mtu wa cyber and so forth, but those are kind of the skills that they are looking for. Again, when it comes to graphic design, could design vitu kama flyers, marketing and so forth, they need someone who can do all that. And that one, you just need to start with the Photoshop, CorelDRAW. I normally tell you these are the best tools that you can ever use, and most of the cybers and most of the business that have ventured in these kind of businesses, they kind of use these tools. Again, when it comes to video editing, we have got so many software, like we normally have Adobe Premiere, Adobe Audition. So those are some of the things that I've interacted with them at least like for like 2 years or a year, something like that, and I found it, they are very easy. It's very easy to learn them, utaelewa kwa urahisi, and you start working with them. Just start with the trial version, acha kushinda ukisumbuka, or maybe you can crack if you have got the capabilities to crack the softwares and make use of it. I don't advocate of cracking, but that is the best. Hizo ni vitu za kawaida tu utapata at the end of the day, because maybe we don't afford to make payment of all those kind of stuff. It's very, very expensive to sustain it. So basically, graphic design, it's an area that you need to focus and you need to work on it. It's just a simple skill that you need to have, and have the basic skills when it comes also to Microsoft and Office softwares like MS Word, MS Excel, PowerPoint, and just Publisher. You can have some skills on that area, but you can forget of Publisher and focus on CorelDRAW, Photoshop and so forth. So gather those kind of skills. Ni rahisi sana, it's something that you can learn within 1 week and you're done. And it's I'm talking to a guy who is in campus, maybe umeshamaliza already, you're out there, you're looking for an employment, or even you are college, something like that. It's something that is very, very easy. You can do it on your own. So I think those areas tumezipitia vizuri. The next area is networking. Not networking, but sorry, it was artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, as I told you, that Internet of Things is an area that you need to expect. Like as you can see nowadays, real estate here in Kenya, at least they are focusing on having smart houses with things like sensors and so forth. So that's an area you can venture in, creating mobile apps that can help people, like unafunga mlango, unawakisha light, using those kind of sensors. And yeah, I've got quite of projects that I'm working on that area. So you can purchase these kind of sensors out there from the Jumia and so forth, and make use of them. Utapata zitakusaidia sana, you gain a lot of skills on that area. So basically, when it comes to artificial intelligence, just focus on Internet of Things and so forth. And now you can focus on the data science, building what we refer to as neural networks, how you manipulate data and so forth. And basically, I would like to cover data science is statistics and data science. So in that area, first of all, start with the basic things like MS Excel, SPSS. You can focus on maybe Python. It's very easy to learn those kind of things. When it comes to Python, kuna video nimefanya at least basic of data science, how to work with those modules like Matplotlib, Pandas, and NumPy. We have got yeah, just check them. At least I think yeah, ziko hapa kwa these ukiangalia these W3 School, utaona all those kind of tools are being written here. And other area that you need to make sure you also good in or good at, I can say, ni mambo na database. Most of the programmers, they don't fail because they don't know how to code. But first of all, your database design matters a lot. So that is something that you need to focus on. So basically, check on that. So I was talking about statistics and data science, about MS Excel, SPSS, Python. R programming is another tool that is out there. You need to make sure you get to know how it works. And as you know that the guys who are in that area, you know, this is an hotcake area. Nimekwambia like this is an area that you need to expect. It's going to grow. Nowadays utakuwa unasikia this kind of jobs kama za CG software engineer. No. You realize that you'll be asked whether you have got this kind of tools like the skills of working with bulky data, big data, something like that. So in those areas, just expect to learn much about Python, R programming, how to interact with those kind of modules that I've talked about, and again things like Hadoops, because data is going to be bulky. So Hadoops and Apache Spark, those are some of the tools that you need to make sure like you're good in, because in most companies or banks, something like that, you realize that these is kind of skills that are going to be hot cake. So check on that. Now let's focus on languages. Languages that are going to expect like zita increase the ile utumizi yake itaenda juu kiasi. It's something like JavaScript, because you know that most of the young developers, they are not aware of PHP, though PHP has been in the industry for many years, but it's good to focus on JavaScript and Python. Those are some of the languages that are very, very basic. PHP, don't forget, still itatumika. Java, it knows much when it comes to here Kenyan industry, but when it comes to mobile developments and so forth, it's an area that you can also check. But I doubt if the number of Java programmers here in Kenya is that huge. But I'm not saying it's too bad. It's a language that is very, very heavy, and most of the people, they like kind of easy languages. So the English languages that you can go with, it's either Python and Python, JavaScript, PHP. Those are kind of scripting languages, are kind of very easy and to work with. So you can check on that. When it comes to desktop development, focus on C# and VB. Those are kind of languages that you'll never ever forget of having them close to you. And MySQL database, it's a database that is going to be in the industry for many years, but also ujue sasa kuna zile zinaitwa no SQL like MongoDB. It's something that you need to kind of focus on. Now just get to know basic on how you set up this kind of workstation. If you're using a certain language, how do you install, if it's Python, to start programming with Python? So how do you start with them? If like working with the package managers for either package Python like pip installed, that is the package manager that is normally used for that. When it comes to JavaScript, you know that is there is npm. Get to know much about the packages that are normally used and how to install them. Again, get to focus on what we refer to as on PHP normally have Composer, and as you know that because of Laravel, PHP is kind of not dying, still bado in a fight. So still wale wase mnasema PHP inaweza kufa, still you need to check. So don't forget about PHP, but you can focus on Python and JavaScript much, because it's kind of the future, it looks good on that area. Then the other skills is about hosting. You need to know, like, if you're dealing with web development or deploying your softwares, that is an area that you need to check. How do you deploy these softwares? If it's a PHP software, if it's a system that you develop with JavaScript or Python, Django, Flask and so forth, that's something that most of the young guys, they don't know much about it here in Kenya, and it's something that you need to focus. You start looking on it. You can buy what we normally refer to as VPS, or just start using shared host, which is very, very cheap. You can get like with less than 1,000, you can get all this stuff and start working on it. Get to know how you host this kind of software, because these are some of the basic skills that you need to have when you're working somewhere. Utatuambia umetengeneza software but you don't know how to deploy it. So it's something that is very, very important. Again, how to test the softwares, because sometimes before you install, you have to test whether it's working perfectly. So yeah, just focus on those kind of languages, as I said. Get to know how to deploy, about package managers and so forth. And there is this part of what we refer to as the tools that you need to get to know how to interact with them. Things like the operating system that is of your choice. Most of the people, they normally say, oh, sijui kama wewe ni wa IT, sijui tumia Linux and so forth. Let me tell you, there's nothing like that. But if you're okay using Linux, it's good. But also, if you're using Windows, still get to know much about it, how you can explore much about how you can use some of the features that are provided, or the resources that are provided by a particular operating system. So it's an area that you don't need to get hard, like uanze kuchanganyikiwa and all that. So just decide which is the best operating tool that you're going to use. Then As you know that VS Code, it's a tool that when it comes to programming, it's a tool that you need to focus on, because you lazima ujue like it's the best when it comes to programming. So that is the best tool that you can use. Then how to work with Chrome. Chrome is it's a programming language. It's a browser that you can say it's a modern browser that has got so much resources when it comes to developers. And how to work with the CMD, Git Bash, because of installation of those kind of packet managers and so forth. You get to know which is which, and deploying on them on things like GitHub and so forth. You get to learn much about it. Then there is WordPress and Webflow. These are kind of tools that content management system that normally make the work of development easier. As you know that most of the websites are using what we refer to as the WordPress. So you need to focus on this, WordPress or Webflow. Hata kama inalipisha pesa ngapi, you can just buy just for Webflow, and you realize that you can use it. You normally get that subscription ya kuitumia it for like a whole year. So something that you can invest on, and you realize that it's going to be very, very helpful for you. So yeah, those are some of the things that you need to check when it comes to tools. Just the operating system, look on the VS Code, much about it, how to interact with it, because that's a basic tool. Then we have got like Chrome. You can focus on Chrome, though you can also focus on Firefox. I like using Firefox a lot. Again, there is I was talking about Git Bash and so forth for those kind of the tools that you and on the operating system was a Mac OS yet nimewasahau but I doubt how many people have got Mac books here in Kenya, because it's very, very expensive. WordPress nimeongea about it. Webflow frameworks is kind of, I can say they are tools that you also need to learn, because though frameworks they come and go, but before you focus on frameworks, I would like advise you to work on the basic stuff, like if it is the front end part, just work with HTML, get to know how to create whatever you need on the front end using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. You can make use of that. Once you maximize on that and have got the right skills on that area, now you can focus on the on which framework that you can use. As you know that front-end frameworks, for JavaScript front-end frameworks like React is very, very prominent when it comes to that area, because of Facebook. It's a product from Facebook, and it's supposed to other modules from other kind of frameworks. It's very easy, so it's something that you can focus on. There is also Angular, which is very, very complex and kind of difficult or hard, I can say, to learn compared to the other ones like React. Then there is also Vue, which you can focus on. So frameworks is not that much, but I would like to advise you sometimes to focus on the core language, because when you get the skills on the core language, now it's very easy to move to the frameworks part of it. So yeah, that's how 2020 is going to be. And there are other skills like just knowing about the accounting packages like QuickBooks, Tally, Pastel, Sage. Still there are a lot of companies that are using that kind of stuff. And to learn all this content, you just realize that hapa kwa W3 school, to the young guys, when you are colleges and universities, resources zote ziko hapa. And before I forgot about another kind of skill that you'll need to have when it comes to 2021, it's JSON. JSON is very, very important, because working with APIs and so forth, you need the work of JSON. And also Ajax, when it comes to PHP, MySQL kind of systems, this is the best tool that you can also use, yeah, to kind of do the programming part of it and so forth, without refreshing your browser and so forth. The Ajax has got that capability to kind of do all those stuff. So yeah, I expect you to improve on those areas. As I said, just focus on those areas. Angalia mahali unataka kuventure in. Kama ni web development, as I said, check on those area. Make sure you choose a language. Also focus on those kind of JSON. how to deploy your application is very very important. And kuna wase tu bado unapata mtu maybe hata una knowledge how you can create set up your workstation, how to the tools that you normally require, like WAMP server, if it's WAMP server, how you install Node on your machine and so forth. Those are some of the basic skills that you need to have. And going forward you realize that ni basic skills, si vitu ati zimetoka mbali and all that. So this kind of technology is going to improve and it's going to put you somewhere now when you specialize in one area of those areas that I've talked about. So improve on that, and I expect you have shared a knowledge that now you can pick one thing that you wanted to specialize on, and you realize that you can move forward. So in case maybe kuna kitu nimeacha, unaweza andika tu pale kwa description, we continue sharing. Yeah, so this here which is coming here, when it comes to software development and so forth, focus more on having the data science skills. They are very very beneficial. And as I always tell you that the leader in this area, it's start learning Python. To learn Python, it can take you like 6 months to get like now to a level like you can go out there and ask for a job. But if it's something that you're consistent about it, it can be less than that. It can take you like 3 months to do it. But just even assume like unafanya leo, kesho maybe unapotea and all that, 6 months will be enough for you like to be in a level that and if you have a background of software development, it's going to be an easy thing for you, so you can focus on that. Also R programming you can also focus on it, but not that much. So get to know that if it is software, you're going to venture in software development, this is something which is going to be basic for you, just to sell your products or to make yourself relevant in this area. Just have got this kind of skills. Again, basic skills that you need to also have as an IT guy, just as I said, graphic design skills, basics of understanding of hardware repair, maintenance and so forth. It's something which is basic. You don't need to take your machine, hata kama wewe ni software engineer, ati uende ukainstall machine CGOS and so forth. You just need to get to learn these basic skills and so forth. Now lastly, nitamaliza na wale wase wanachafua industry, una charge pesa tu yenye hakuna. Sometimes I know you have to know what you are worth, but usiharibu tu bei sometimes is not good. At least it's better you look for a guy mwenye unaweza senda pale kona more knowledge about you, about this industry, and unamfront pale. At least sasa kama ni biashara ulikuwa unafanya, usitaki kukula tu peke yako, you can take it there and muna negotiate, unapata ile industry hujaichoma, na at the same time you're doing something which is constructive. But still usitupe job, because I know hakuna jobs. So just for the guys who are out there, just at least ndio tuweze kuondoa jokers and so forth, let's just also improve on our skills and the price that you normally give. At least upate yule mtu akona skills ziko juu, hajakosa kazi, at the same time tujaua industry and all that. So it's something that yeah, we can balance that. Just sijasema utupe job, na sijasema at least ulipishe pesa yenye hakuna, which cannot work, because still ile time unalipisha pesa yenye hakuna, hata hiyo product ukitaka kusaidiana na mtu mwingine utarealize there is nothing you can offer as like you can't share anything. Kama ni website na umelipisha 5k, my friend, hapo hata kama umeshinda na kitu fulani, utaita mtu mwingine akuje kufanya, it is going to be very very difficult. So yeah, that is it. And yeah, I hope you are going to focus on those areas when it comes to 2021. And as I said, 2021 is going to be a year of data science. Nimeanza kuona job zikiwa na advertisement of those kind of stuff, and I hope this is an area that is going to grow, at least in a big way, here in Kenya. So thank you guys, and see you in 2021. The videos that I've promised, I'm going to still bado kuendelea kuzifanya by 2021. Continue supporting the channel. Make sure you like the video. I know it has been a long video, but it's okay. It's good to share all this information so that you can get to understand much about it. Yeah, thank you.